Morning, guys. Obviously, going back and reviewing the film from last Saturday's game, disappointed. A lot of things that we could have improved upon and need to do better. It comes down to lack of execution. Obviously, the two turnovers are very costly. You look at back-to-back weeks of us blowing the lead, and it comes down to execution, missed tackles, guys, that close on assignments and not be able to finish the game. And I think those are things that we can clean up. We're capable of. Like I told our team, I said, last three games have all been decided by 3 points or less. And so when you get that close, it's that fine line in college football these days, and the margin for error continues to shrink every year. And so we've got to continue to clean up the things that we need to do. And I think our guys understand what's at stake and what we need to. Looking ahead to Tulsa, obviously a team that's got a quarterback that's top 20 in the country in passing yards. Last time we were there, really, it was a missed kick that probably changed the fortunes of a lot of people of this program. I think it delivered us college game day, probably helped lead to where I'm sitting here today. A lot of things that have been since last time we played that game. And we know it's another conference game. They played Ohio State to a 7-point game going into the fourth quarter. They're capable as anybody. So they had 11 all-conference players. If you look at their defense line's very active. They also have every single guy on their defense in their starting lineup has played at least 4 years of college football. So we're going to have our hands full. Our guys' focus is 100% on Tulsa and looking forward to getting after it this week.
Frank and then Evan.
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
Good, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Going back to the fumbles, I know you said that, you were going to put a more emphasis on that in practice. What does that look like? Is it certain drills or what happens with that?
Yeah, we talk about it, we preach it, we make them hold balls during stretch, we go and try to knock them out. We do a ball security circuit every single day. Obviously, we got to continue to evaluate to make sure what we're doing is carrying over to the game. Clearly, we've got to improve upon it, and we got to harp on it. We do, and it's every single day. It's got to be a point of emphasis. Everybody involved in our program. I don't care if the academic advisors are out there watching practice. They need to talk about owning the football. But reality, we work on it. And Frank, obviously, we got to do a better job. It's not showing up on Saturdays, and that's a darn shame because reality, I'm a firm believer that turnovers cost you games, and I think that's look, we made some tackles and played some better things on defense, absolutely. But you fumble the ball, on the 1-inch line, going in. And then all of a sudden they get a touchback and then you fumble it on your own 15, reversing the course of the field. Now all of a sudden the defense backed up, especially in the second half of the game. It's going to be very hard for us.
Now, when you're dealing with, 18, 19, 20-year-old young men, are you worried at all of a mental thing happening where, because you guys have had some fumbles now, every time they touch the ball, they're worrying about it getting in their own head? Is there any of that concern going on?
No, look, we've got great confidence in our backs, and all of our guys that touch the football. We do, and they know they're just as frustrated as anybody, and I would be worried if they weren't frustrated, if they weren't mad, if they weren't upset. That's when I would be worried, But I think these guys understand the importance of ball security, and look, you're going to see those guys that did have fumbles. They're going to continue to carry the football for us because that's who we got, and we have faith in them that they'll get the job done. We just got to continue to stress it, so that on Saturdays, the ball security is their first thought, but we still got to be able to run and run effectively.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Evan and then Mark.
Brian, kind of on that note, and I think I kind of hinted at it on Saturday, but do you see any changes with the running back rotation given the fumbles? Obviously, Brandon didn't play the second half. Drake had a solid game, but do you see any changes with your running back rotation at this point?
You guys have seen really, it's been Brandon and Drake have been kind of the 1-2 punch. And I think we've been relatively effective with it. Obviously the ball security deal, Kyle and Watkins have come back, been out almost a month with an injury, had a couple nice runs. And then obviously the fumble on the goal line, spot him in there. Asa's continued to, we'll see if he can fill a void for us in certain parts. And then Markevius Weaver has been solid, right? Obviously, Markevius Weaver is playing a ton of reps on special teams. And when you look at it, he's starting on every specialty we have, but field goal block. So, right, he's starting on 4 phases plus PAT. So he's getting almost, however you look at it, 40 plus reps a game when he's not on the offensive backfield. So, I think we'll still stick with the majority of the carries going to Brandon and Drake and see where, how the game unfolds and where we need to get it.
And then on that note, with the defense, obviously, again, you mentioned the blown lead. Is there any changes you see that need to happen on that end, or any changes you think you want to make on that side of the ball?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's personnel or scheme driven. You look at, there's whether you want to call it the shovel pass that goes down as a pass, it was almost a 40-yard gain, and that came strictly down to a missed tackle. No different late in the game, coming off the edge of the scheme. We're right there where we need to be and missed the tackle as well, and a misfit. So we've got little things that are turning into big things that we've got to get cleaned up on that side of the ball. We've got to find ways to make plays on the ball, right? The only interception we've had this year was late in the game versus Nichols. We need to find ways to create a little bit of havoc on defense, right? Averaging just, 1.2 sacks per game. We've had some quarterbacks able to run around, but we got to be able to find ways to affect the quarterback, whether it's interceptions or sacks.
What, in your mind, do you think there's something specific that needs to change with that? Because you mentioned personnel isn't a concern, but just, is there something that needs to be changed where you guys can, get more takeaways, get that pass rush, just specifically on that part?
Yeah, look, we're always evaluating what we call and what we're doing, on all three phases, right? Offense, defense, and special teams. And I think, Evan, we're just saying, okay, what is it? Obviously, sometimes when you want to pressure more, well, then you're putting your guys more one-on-one coverage. And we got to see if we're effective doing that. If we don't pressure, we've got to be able to get home with a 3 or 4 man rush and finding guys. Maybe it's, putting different pass rusher guys out there based off of situational football. Obviously, if they're lined up in 2 tight end sets, it's dictating 80% run, then, sometimes we have to have some of our bigger guys out there. So we're constantly evaluating. It's a week to week, kind of like I told our team, I said, every week's a new season. And so we've got to have a new mindset and a new approach. And that starts with us as a coaching staff.
Thank you.
Mark, and then back to Frank.
Yeah, Ryan, along those lines, how do you balance, the fact that, some things aren't going right now, but at the same time, you are, pretty close to having won both of these games. How do you balance that, there's probably part of you that wants to change a lot of things and part of you that wants to stay the course. How do you, especially because this is the first time you've kind of gone through this as a head coach, how do you balance all that?
Yeah, Mark, you're exactly right. I mean, it's that weird feeling of, you sit there and say, well, we're not going to scrap everything, because you're exactly right. I mean, you look at it, I'm not going to say the what if game, because that's college football, right? I mean, if we didn't fumble those 2 footballs, both, back-to-back weeks, we're talking about different deals. So I was thinking this morning when I woke up, and sometimes, believe it or not, I know you guys doubt it, but I actually think about what you guys may ask me. And I was sat there and said, last year, a lot of the questions were, Ryan, why the heck you guys start so slow? And then you guys wake up in the middle of 3rd quarter. And conversely, this year, it's like, wow, you guys are getting these leads. And so when I think anytime, and I told our team this, Mark, is, you're able to get the leads, play sound offense, play sound defense, play sound special teams. So that means the game plan's probably decent, right? Because and then what are we doing? And I think what's happened is we're shooting ourselves in the foot in the second half and finding ways not to capitalize, beating ourselves, doing all those things. So when that comes down to that, and my career, even though the short-lived head coaching career, in my 23 years, it's always, okay, how do we clean up the details of our game, right? Is it the fit? Is it, sometimes it means simplifying things so you can execute at a higher level. And so we're evaluating everything. And it's not one of these full-blown panic. Look, if we lost 48-0, it was all right. I'll hit the explosion button. Let's blow this thing up and figure out where we got to start back. But and there's no excuses and no explanations, Mark, not at all. But if you would have told me we're starting a freshman quarterback, a freshman running back, a freshman left tackle, a freshman corner, and if he's healthy, a freshman kicker, those are probably the last 5 positions I'd want freshmen starting at. And again, that's not an excuse, but we're building, we're learning how to do things, and we're going to stay the course. And we believe in each other. That's the one thing about this team is, it's easy when things don't go right. Oh, here's the point, the blame. I said, let's always point it back at me. I'm ultimately want to take responsibility, but how can we all get better? And that's one thing, just talking to our guys yesterday, they're focused, they're dialed in. I don't think that's been an issue. I think our guys play hard. No one's ever doubted that. We just got to find ways to execute and clean it up a little bit better. But
And then just for clarification, defensively, schematically, are you guys doing anything differently now than you were, say, the last 5 games of last year when the defense was really clicking?
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's Coach McIntyre's defense. He's done a good job. It's not a whole lot different. It really isn't. Everyone says, well, yeah, the question, can you get home with a 3-man rush when you're playing the 4 eyes? All that stuff. We just have to find ways to get to that pressure. And credit to the teams we played. They've had some elusive quarterbacks that we haven't been able to get down. We've been there at times. And I we've got to be able to finish those, all of a sudden you finish a couple tackles where you got the quarterback and just don't wrap up or don't maintain containment and pass rush lanes. It's obviously hurting us. And so, but no, schematically, other than some wrinkles like we would week in and week out, obviously to be on top of things and coach well, it's the same scheme.
Thanks.
Frank and then Devin.
Ryan, I wanted to switch gears a little bit, talk about the news about the stadium. The mayor went around saying that they've hired a architect to brainstorm some renovations. I guess, how exciting it is to see that some renovations to Liberty Bowl maybe come down the pipeline shortly.
Yeah, Frank, I'm going to be straightforward. I don't know much about what's occurring there, and that's not that they don't involve me. Our university, our city's been wonderful trying to involve me in our football program and stuff, but I've been selfishly just saying, hey guys, right now, it's the same deal, like speaking engagements, all that stuff. Whatever I'm obligated to the media, I'm happy to spend time and share with you guys. But other than that, I'm like, I tell our guys all the time, let's put the blinders on, folks, because right now I can't. There's not enough time. I got to find ways to get this thing heading the right direction. So, and that, Frank, that's the honest truth. I'm not, now hopefully in January, February, and I know this, our city's great, our university will be great involving me. They know that my plans are what we want to do here for the long term. So, look, any positive thing that is about the Liberty Bowl or things that are going to occur, that's great. But reality, I haven't given a single thought, or have I really even had much? I've been trying to this day and age put my cell phone away and only check it to see if my wife or recruits are reaching out to me.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, bud.
Devin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Devin. I like your Princeton sweatshirt.
No problem. I'm a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to ask you about keeping your guys in the straight line. It's hard for 18 to 21-year-olds to kind of stay focused in the social media age when things like this happen. You guys dropped 2 games for the first time since 2018. How do you keep your guys away from the clippings or the tweets or the stuff on social media that can get them driven in the wrong way and down the right path for this week?
Absolutely, Devin. I think that's, this profession and job have changed so much every year, and it continues to change, right? Not only with portal, people in their ear, social media, right? When I first got in this thing, there weren't even cell phones, much less, social media has obviously become more and more popular. And every single one of our guys, they've got these apps I've never even heard of, right? You pick up one of their cell phones and so they're constantly hearing different things. And so we tell them after every game, it doesn't matter when we beat Mississippi State, decide who you listen to, because when you beat Mississippi State, everybody's patting you on the back. 1,000 text messages. Oh, you're the best. You're great. You're good. You need to think about the league, bro. And then you lose. Hey, you're a sucker. You're not good enough. We knew you couldn't do it. People. And so we tell them all the time, just have that same focus and decide who you listen to. And reality, besides their family, and sure, look, some families are probably pointing fingers too, but what we have in our team room, our family, our football family, that's all we can lean on and rely on right now. And having that trust in each other. And when adversity hits, it's easy to get mad and say, well, if we did this, or he could have done that, or if we called this. Instead, I said, hey, let's trust each other more. Let's grow closer together. And without sounding corny, Devin, and I'm not a big mantra guy, but like, if there's ever a time to talk about being all in, what that means, it's right now. And I told our guys, there's a time to buy in, to be all in, right? And with that, what it stands for, right? The attitude, the little things, loving each other, caring about each other more, right? Continue to work on our intelligence, and the time is now. And so, like, it's amazing how that all works. And then our guys sat there, and I had our team meeting, and I talked to them, and I said, this is it. And they're all nodding their head and saying, you're absolutely right. And it'd be different if they weren't looking at me or they were pissed. And I mean, yeah, they're angry and upset, but they know that our focus has to be on what it takes. And every single person, it starts with me. How do we right this ship?
All right. Thank you, Coach Silverfield.
Thanks, guys.